Hello, hello. It's been a minute since I've been on live. My name is Raven of Slow Sewing Sundays, where usually on Sundays I get on here live. Um, we just do some things sewing related, not always sewing. Um, but I have been a little MIA the last 2 weekends. Well, yes, at least, as far as the live is concerned. Because last weekend I did I posted up an actual video, and then the weekend before, um, I did like a museum hop, or maybe like a museum crawl. So I just love how creative sometimes, like my friends can be. Like, so 2 weekends ago when I did we went to different museums for a friend of mine's birthday, and just so many of us we hardly ever get together, so to get us out of the house, you just got to have a good plan, preferably do something that's just during the day, not something that's too late. And she's really into museums. I think it was her 37th birthday, and it was just something just really chill. And it was like she had three different exhibits, on the itinerary, and it was like, hey, we're gonna be at this museum from this time, seeing this exhibit, and like she had them, like three of them, and you could just show up when you wanted and just leave when you wanted. So it was really nice, and it was such a beautiful day that day because spring is finally starting to spring out here in DC. The cherry blossoms are out. I forget how short cherry blossom season is because like I just started to see them bloom, and now I see some of them already like dying. It's just so sad how like quick the season is, but it's gorgeous. So yeah, I feel like I've just been more kind of taking advantage of, the weather and all that type of stuff. And weekends are only 2 days. So yeah, although I've been a little sad, not always being present for the lives, um, I've also been having a lot of fun and going outside. And so did the same thing today. Um, so that's why this is a late one. But anywho, um, yes, welcome back. This is episode 20. Like, who am I, right? Like, I never keep going with things like this, at least not that long. So, this one may not be super long. I don't expect to see anybody live, which may actually be for the best because I have set up a little bit, but I kind of wanted to bring out a machine that I got towards the end of last year. I may have discussed this on another video, but I bought two sewing machines, kind of more quote unquote entry level, but great machines. I love the Janome brand of machines. So this is a colorful one. Got it on sale via Joanne.com. And they were running a sale. And I bought them thinking, so this one is, like kind of a greenish teal color. The other one is like a more of a purple color. And I just thought they would be fun. And I really bought them thinking that, what, like eventually I want to get into the space where, maybe I'm teaching a couple folks. And I did attempt to do that a few years ago, actually, like right before the pandemic, and it went well. They were kind of free introductory classes at my local library. But I got these are free classes, so I don't even know why I would get any pushback. However, people were really just not happy about like bringing their own machine. Some people. And, the reason why I did that is like, I'm bringing my own machine. Like, you can bring your own machine. The machine that you would, because I wanted to teach people on the machine that they would actually be working on. But they just didn't want to bring it to the library. So, like, I mean, I get it. But I think when you're trying to at least learn, not everybody has a machine, first of all. And I think it's hard enough just to get people out of the house. So if you have a machine that people can like work on and learn on just to kind of get their feet wet, maybe that's for the best. So anyway, I love having machines. I don't really have room for all the ones that I have. But I keep them around anyway, and so of course any excuse to buy another machine, I kind of allowed myself to do that. So these were about $100. I don't know if I had mentioned that. And I think to this day, even on Amazon, they're usually about that price. Maybe depending on the color, because they also have like a pink and a blue. It may be a little more, like $129 or something like that. Don't quote me, because prices always fluctuate. But I thought, for a machine that is, let me see if I can show another view of the machine. Okay, so you're kind of seeing this little top view, but then you're also seeing, I guess, like, yeah, the front view of this machine. So this is the little paper thing that it came with. Again, because I have unboxed this kind of once, but I've never actually like plugged it in and started trying to like mess with it. So this will be my first test on that. But I think when I first did a traditional class, I think one of the first machines I learned on was a Janome machine, and it was something like this, but it was something simple. So this is a mechanical machine, so it's not computerized, it's none of that. But I think when you're first learning, I think it's great to have like dials, and you set your stitch lengths and different things like that, and kind of get to know it. Also this little trapdoor thing, this was in it, all your goodies. It is not a drop-in bobbin, but I know what this is called, but I can't remember what it is right now. The opposite of a drop-in bobbin. So front loading bobbin, I think is what it's called. Front loading bobbin. That's all you need. You don't need anything, super fancy. But again, this is plastic, obviously, on the outside, but it's a metal body on the inside. And I think actually what kind of inspired me to pull this one out today, because my life is just busy as everybody's is. So I have not been, at all either one thinking about teaching classes right now, nor am I really like focused on creating lessons or anything like that. So these machines have basically been in boxes in my closet. But what made me pull it out today is because I was looking on Instagram, which I'm more of a lurker on Instagram these days than a poster. But somebody was talking about how they basically made a video talking about like showing all the cool stuff they've made, and like whoever it was they were doing awesome. They were like not only making cool stuff, they were selling their stuff, and they were talking about they're a mom of I'm not sure how many kids, but they kind of had to be the breadwinner for a minute, and all with I think they had like a quote unquote entry level brother machine. But the reason why that was important was because somebody had commented about like, why are you using that machine? You need to like step up your machine and all that type of stuff. And I'm just like, I think her point was like, you know what, like you can say that, but like look at all the beautiful things I've made with this. And it doesn't matter what machine you have, like, you know, whatever. And of course it's like posts like that like, you know, everybody was like, yeah, you know, I mean, which I'm in that camp too, like, yeah, it doesn't matter what machine you have, like, girl, sew that thing, or boy, sew that thing. um but like, why does anybody have to be so ugly, you know? And these machines are fantastic, and a lot of us started on machines like that, and this to me is an equivalent of that, because I had a brother similar to hers starting out. But I guess I was like, yeah, let me bring out my quote unquote entry level machine and make a project, because there are clothes that I still have, even though, you know me, I will get rid of a machine. As I just showed in my last video, I'm sorry, I will get rid of an outfit, you know, if it doesn't fit or if it's just not my style anymore. But there are definitely things in my closet that I've kept. And not everything that I've kept is a clothing item. Some things are just other things that I've made. But they were from back in that day when I was using, you know, my old brother machine, and they're fine. I don't know. So, didn't mean to get on that rant, but yeah. Using this machine today. Now, I will be a little ashamed if there's indeed something wrong with this machine. I think it's too late to unpack at this point, but I'm not above going to take something like this to a shop if that's the case, but I think it'll be okay. So that's, I think, the first thing I'm going to do now. I think my plan was to, this dress that I've been not doing, but just looks like I only work on it when I put the camera in my face. And it's for the spring, this outfit, but at the rate I'm going, it may be for next spring. But anywho, yeah, so I'm going to start cranking this baby up and plugging it in and all that type of stuff. So I'll go back to my other camera. Yeah, so I literally just took off the little tie that was here. So again, this is basically a brand new machine, new out of the box. I do have, I'm not gonna really, I don't plan on really referring to this unless I really need this. I have a feeling that I can just, you know, plug and play here. But we'll see how it goes. So, plug it in the back. Alright. Set the pedal on the floor. Everything smells so new. And put it in a plug behind me. Alright. Flip the switch. Okay. I see that ambient light. Of course I was not like fully prepared. So now I'm like, oh yeah, like I gotta like thread this thing and stuff. Let me just get any old thread color, I guess. Well, hold on. Because I want to use black most likely. Well, I don't have to. Like this this is a multicolored type of thing. So there's a like a purple. I can use that. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it complicated. It'll be fine. All right. So start with my bobbin. Is this? I guess this doesn't pull up any more than this. This should be fine. Okay. Man, y'all can't see nothing. Actually, let me put it back. Since I'm just doing the bobbin part. Discombobulated. Actually, we'll just keep holding on to this thread tail. Doesn't need to be crazy full. There's a trash can back there. Oh. All right. So just taking out the bobbin that's came in the case. All right. Front loading this. All right, and now I will okay, I feel like I've been threading the other machine so much that this just went by. The threading on this, I mean, not like it's super complicated on my the Juki I have, the semi-industrial one, but it is a little different. Okay. All right. threaded, allegedly. Let's do some test stitches. I did come a little prepared with my scrap. But where are my scissors? These are not, they may look like sewing scissors, but they're not. Oh my gosh, look how they match. Okay. Okay. Wrong sides together. And this is rayon fabric, so we know it's a little testy. Let's see. So it's on the straight stitch already. Bump it up to 2.5 for the stitch length. Okay, we're gonna have to crank down the needle. Start with the needle in the fabric. Go a little forward. Back. Okay. Just by the way it sounds, like it doesn't sound, a lot of times like these machines can be like super loud, but this one doesn't give that impression. Okay. Could you sound a little sexy? Oh man. Okay. Let's see. So there's no side cutter. What do you need that for? You got scissors. Alright. I'm not upset at this at all. Let me see if I can. So there's my stitch that you can probably barely see. But it's a gorgeous, it does sound strong, right? Thank you. Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, this is the best I'm gonna be able to do, unless like I can give it to you to hold it. But yeah, this is. I mean, honestly, like a machine like this, truly. I know sometimes we can get a little. I think like anything, once you're like doing it a lot, or you start to be like, oh, I want this feature. I want it to, to cut it, I don't want to cut it, let it self-cut, or like, let me have a little thigh thing that, raises the presser foot so I don't have to do it with the button or whatever it is. But like, all you need is a machine like this to do most things. Obviously, if you start wanting to do some more specialty things, or I mean, I think if you're trying to like have a jeans clothing line or something, I'm pretty sure you're going to look into other things. But for this is awesome. So very happy with this. Shouldn't have waited so long to test this, but I'm me. So, all right. Well, that's great. Ooh. My setup in here is actually still a bit shaky. I tried to put something to kind of together. In my building, they're replacing like all the windows, so they literally have to have people like come in so they can do that. And so anything that's like 4 feet in front of the window needed to be moved out of the way so they could do their thing. They technically did that about 2 weeks ago now, but they didn't replace the window in this room because they didn't have the size window. And so they're like, oh, when we get it in stock, will come back. So naturally, I'm like, well, I'm not trying to like pull out all my sewing stuff because, of course, I put it by the window because when you're working on sewing things, you feel cool, but you also maybe feel a little trapped sometimes. And like, I started doing this to the outside, like, ugh. So I naturally have my setup by the window, but I've broken all that stuff down. So this is a very makeshift table setup. This is usually kind of like my cutting table, not exactly my sewing table. But whatever, we're making it work. My main machine is on the floor, and it's giving this one time to shine. So hey, making it work. But yes, misbehaving. It does sound strong. Love it. Okay. Well, as usual, I do not have this well planned out. So, with my project, this is the instruction booklet for the True Bias Roscoe Dress and top blouse. And the blouse is kind of like, yeah, you could do like a blouse, you could do like a tunic thing with kind of like a longer ruffled hem on the bottom. And then, a dress. I don't know why I keep messing with these ruffles because the last thing I made with ruffles was the Friday Pattern Company, the Davenport dress. And I was not a fan. But I don't know. Something in me, I think, wants to frolic, you know what I mean? And ruffles, I think, equate that in my mind. Flowy, light, sunshine, springtime, whatever. I felt like it was cold for a while. And as much as the wintertime needs to have her moment, I'm going to need her to step to the side. Yeah. So, okay. I am stalling and basically saying all that to say, I don't know what I need to do. So, I may be a little quiet because I have to do a little bit of reading and figure out what I need to put together. Yes. So, I do have all the pieces cut out. So I have that going for me. Well, we're just jumping right in with the neckline. You know what? You know what my problem is? I just want to sew. I just want to sew. I don't want to think about this. I don't want to read. I just want to sew. And I think after hearing how this sounds, that's really what I want to do. I don't want to manipulate any fabric. I just want to go. I'm sorry. Because now it's like, oh, so you probably want me to iron something or press something. Okay. Woosah. I'll try to do like one step, maybe two, and then we'll go from there. And then I'll probably just call it done because I can tell I'm not a good fit for this at this moment. But I was just really excited about this part and I didn't think about like, oh, okay. Neckline facing with the front piece. You show. Neckline facing. Oh. Cut one. Cutting line. the front. Okay. Girl. I haven't even clipped some of my notches. Just out here, just raggedy. Raggedy. These are not sewing scissors. Let me get real sewing scissors. Just one moment. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. All right. Okay. I am doing what view? I should also mention that this is a very easy project. This really shouldn't take long. I'm just being a toddler right now about this. I'm sure. Cut here for view A and B. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is the, what is this? It's the neck facing, and it only requires, one, to cut one out, but you know how it is. You're usually dealing with 2 layers, so I just went ahead and cut the second one out because, we make mistakes sometimes, so that is not a bad idea. Having this one. Okay. So there's a cutting line from this point to where I just snipped. So I'm going to go ahead and, ooh, this rayon. Okay. I'm sure it's the middle, but I'll go ahead and mark it out anyways. Oh man. My straight edges is on the other side. And I ain't going in front of that camera again like that. My back is all out. And y'all don't want to see that with y'all's virgin eyes. So I will spare y'all and just use this as a straight edge. That's the thing about sewing, like, we always make it work. Golly. I don't. Well, okay. Again, I can barely see that, but I do think it's just a matter of, I'm pretty sure it's right down the center. So yep. Cool. Okay. What is it now? Right sides touching, align your neckline facing with the front piece matching center front notches. Pin in multiple places. All right. Uh-oh. Oh no. I need y'all to go over there. Ooh. Yeah. Grown folks' business. And wait your turn. Okay. Ooh. Check out that color. Okay. It says reduce your stitch length to 1.5. Starting at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, stitch down one side of the cutting line, marked on the facing piece. Stitch down one side on the facing piece. Oh. Reducing the seam allowance as you go. So you're at 16 seam allowance at the bottom. Pivot. Okay. Okay. So basically, this big piece is the front. Sorry, I forgot. I need to get closer to the mic. So this big piece is the front. This is the facing. There's a cutting line that goes down the center of this. So we're basically making this like open neckline piece. That's probably a better one to see. So what I'm gonna have to do is like, it wants me to stitch. Okay, this is probably a bad idea trying to explain this and show this, but basically, I have to stitch really closely to the cutting line on either side of it, and then go down to the bottom of the cutting line and go back up. So then when I actually cut it and I turn this on the inside, both sides will be like very neat because I will have stitched. This doesn't make any sense what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna do it and then we'll see how it comes out, what happens. Okay, great. Glad we had that little talk. Okay, I think I'm gonna actually need my little straight edge. No. I can make do. Just make do. Oh. Yes. Okay. All right. Where? Okay. So I'm just gonna guesstimate this. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. That looks fine. Okay. Now, because this is rayon and it is so slinky, I'm gonna actually put some perpendicular pins and just take them out as I go. But I just don't want this to move around a lot. Alright. It's a little ugly. Got a lot of pins going on. But that's okay. Okay. Let me do that. Okay. So stitch length 1.5. All right. And I basically, I drew the path. um, yeah, if it were just cotton, I'd probably just eyeball it. But again, because this stuff is so shifty, I'd rather like have a line that I can just, go by. Ooh. Kind of purrs a little bit. You know what I mean? It's nice. I like this. All right, got a pivot. Okay. Whoop. All right. Pivot again. Nice. Okay. All right now. Okay. Okay. Cut down along the cutting line, marking until you are close to, but not through the bottom stitches. Snip carefully into the corners. I'm not doing that. I didn't leave myself that much room. So I'm gonna cut it down for sure. It's so funny because I feel like so much of sewing is like kind of going on vibes, you know. uh, ooh, okay. Probably would have been better to do with smaller scissors, but the smaller scissors that I have are very blunt now, so you know, sometimes you gotta live a little, take the chances. All right. Pull the facing through the opening you just created so that it's on the wrong side of your front piece. Press. Trim the sides and bottom of the facing to 5/8. All right. So this is the part I was kind of talking about. Now I bring it inward, but it's oh so nice, you know, because I've the because the piece that I cut will be encased in this seams that I just created. Whoop whoop. And I've mentioned this before, but I'm gonna be using this roller, this seam roller, which is fantastic. I feel like it works great on like lighter weight stuff like this rayon, and also like your quilting cottons, which is also like a lighter cotton. So you don't always have to like get up from your work and go press something. This is a really great like no heat method and just really quick. So I can do this right here. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna actually like press this first. Open. Somehow pressing this open first makes it easier to fold it. I've found. Oh, sorry. Guess you can't really see that too well. These are the moments when I feel like, you're like training your fabric, like you would like train your hair. uh, it needs to know when and where it needs to lay down. Now I do feel like this roller is a little more effective like on like quilting cottons. I mean, it's working fine now because I'm not ironing this right now. So, but this is already kind of laying down the way I need it to. So, cool. Definitely would still be better to hit it with an iron and some steam. Again, for like rayon, but for this for now, this is fine. I said this was gonna be quick, and not so much. But it's like I've told y'all plenty of times, I don't ever do anything quick. This is called Slow Sewing Sundays for a reason. Oh, okay, here. Get it in there. Press it good. I'd still rather do this than get up right now in my mess of things and try to. I'm not getting the iron. That's just it. So okay. So now trim the sides and bottom of the facing to 5/8 of an inch. And then so basically, I haven't read the rest of it, but I'm gonna do 5/8 of an inch. Then it wants me to basically like turn under the edge, and then I will go in with a seam. Oh, speaking of, let me put this back up to like 2.5. And enclose this thing all around the sides after I've rolled it, and then I'll have that opening in my front piece. Yeah. So that's not bad. Little steps, little goals, little progress. Okay, let's see this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. I'm gonna turn off this sewing machine. But yeah, I mean, we're hitting up to an hour, so I don't want to go any farther or start anything else, but I'm super pleased with this machine. I love the color. I'm gonna test the other one too, I guess, just to make sure that it sounds okay too. They're the exact same machine, just different colors. So I expect everything to feel exactly the same. Even though I'm a firm believer that every machine just kind of is just a little bit different. It just has its own little, just like people, it's just you got your own little something about you. But for the most part, they should be the same. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun just trying it out. I could tell because, again, I was like turning into a whole toddler when I was like, oh man, I just want to sew. But the little bit that I've gotten to do with it, you have a little tester bit of fabric, doing like, step, what is that? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 1, 2, and 3 on this pattern. So yeah, so now at least I have a little itty bitty setup that I can actually like start on this. Sometimes, again, the hardest part is just starting, and I tend to avoid that until I'm in front of the camera. So thank you very much. I appreciate that, Ellen. Yeah, I think it's looking good. I mean, again, I kind of celebrate all the wins, all the steps. So even this little part, I'm like, I'm doing it. So yeah. But anywho, I'm liking the machine. I guess if anybody asks about it, if somebody comments is like, hey, what machine is that? Even though I did put it in the title. But whatever. I can let you know. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out. I know it's late. I'll try to be earlier next Sunday. But yeah, maybe I'll just like keep it going on this machine, at least this particular project, because again, I was digging her. But yeah, have a good week, everyone. Happy sewing, and I'll see you next time. All right, take care. Bye.